Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Sanderlanche podcast. We are back reading some Brandon Sanderson this week. We started on Rhythm of War and read the prologue and chapters 1 and 2, wherein, I feel like the prologue gives us a very different view of Gavilar than we've had before now through his wife's eyes, and not a real flattering one. And then we get some Lyran perspective, and we return to Hearthstone, the city that two of our three readers could not remember the name of last week. So now you see why Lyran, Hasina, Hearthstone was all on the Jeopardy thing as relevant going forward. But I'm Data, and with me this week is
Yes. Jamie?
Jack?
And Joe.
So hang on to something, everybody. The Sanderlanche is about to begin.
There is a wonder in the weave, so many forks upon these roads. For a burden that is shared is much easier to bear. We will not fall to despair this darkest day. Whatever comes our way, whatever paths we follow, I will share your pain, your laughter and your sorrow. And should we prove ourselves, lose ourselves, nothing's gonna send us astray. Whatever comes our way.
So yeah, that song that you just heard was from Miracle of Sound. As of this recording, I have not picked what the new song is going to be, so you guys now know more than I do. Hope you enjoyed it.
Hear from the past. You now know from the future.
From the world of tomorrow. No, that never works because we're always in the past.
Yeah.
when these come out.
Well, no, the Australians are always in the future. That's the thing.
That's true. Yeah, every time we talk to an Australian, they're from the world of tomorrow.
Yep.
It's crazy. We did
How is
three...
it? How is it on, what is it, June 9th or 8th?
8th.
Whatever day it is.
It's grey and overcast.
That sounds... I'd be okay with that.
Yeah, it's winter there, right?
It is.
Oh, I hope it's winter.
After like 2 weeks in Florida where it was burning hot and sunny all the time, I go for some cool and overcast.
Yeah.
Personally.
Well, you guys got home in time just for all that rain.
That's true. It rained a whole bunch here, flash flood warnings and everything.
Hmm.
Anyway, we did the prologue and the first two chapters of this. What did you guys think of the beginning of Rhythm of War?
Yeah. Good to get back into Stormlight for sure. Very excited about that. Navani's perspective of what happened on the night of Gavilar's death. Yeah, that's a light I didn't expect Gavilar to be in. And I realize we don't really know a lot about him, and we're learning about him from the perspectives of other people reflecting on what he was. But man, I feel like the perspective of your wife is pretty important. And yeah, not really rating Gavilar these days. That was really disappointing, I think, and a bit heartbreaking for Navani as well. I want to learn more about Navani. There was a comment in there, and it wasn't something I remembered, and I don't know if we've covered it before or not, but like her heritage and lineage. So I always love Navani, but I'm so curious to learn more about her. I hope we get a bit more of that in this book, but who knows? Yeah, good to come back into right into the middle of all the action. It's kind of nice. I think a lot of the times we get a bit of a slow burn and try to, where are we up to, what's happening, all that sort of stuff. But yeah, we're 2 chapters in, and Kaladin's already had a near-death experience, and Shallan, Vale, Radiant have been kidnapped. So yeah, it's good. I'm curious to see what they've all been up to. Kaladin seems like he's going through some issues again, which is no good. The relationship with his father is not looking particularly good. Huge dynamic shift for Roshone, I guess. Yeah, and I guess exciting that they're all gonna go back to Urithiru. Hopefully, a fairly smooth journey given Kaladin's reception to Hearthstone. Yeah, lots happening already. I'm excited to keep going.
Yeah, that Kaladin fight is pretty intense for right at the beginning of the book, right? It's crazy.
Yeah, It's definitely seeing the fused in a new light. Obviously there's different types of fuses we're learning, but that's intense. Going into fight one that you haven't fought before, and just
Yeah, and
they're
apparently
surely not going to get easier from there.
they have crazy magic powers, and you don't know what they're going to be before you fight them. So yeah, that's scary.
Yeah.
But what you said about Gavilar was a really good point, because I feel like the main perspective that we've had on Gavilar before now is from Dalinar, and Dalinar clearly has a really different view of his brother than some other people do.
Mm,
And
yeah.
maybe Navani's is more
And he's sort
accurate.
of like, I mean, you are who you are to different people, right? You can still be a rubbish human and do good for your kingdom, but it sounds like he's not necessarily doing that either. Navani's really holding it all together, which is a huge amount of pressure. And then, how it came out to Gavilar, I guess, that Navani had feelings for Dalinar. Like, sure, but like so much of your life has happened, and this is crazy. Like, she made her choice, she stuck with her choice, and to be treated that way is pretty appalling.
Yeah.
In general, regardless of whatever has happened. So no, I really feel for her, and I don't know then how much of that she's ever shared with Dalinar, who is obviously now her husband. So yeah, would that change his feelings of his brother? I don't know. And even from Yasna, like, I never really got those sort of vibes. Like, he's not exactly treating her particularly well either, nor Elhokar, but we've not really had their perspective. It just, it was a shift. Like, I didn't think he was a saint or anything, and clearly he was going through some stuff, and there was a lot going on in his life, but I didn't expect that. That was a real, whoa, okay. First we realized Dalinar was not exactly great. in the last book, he's redeemed himself, which is great. Gavilar never really got that opportunity to do that, but I didn't think they were both going to be pretty rubbish at the same time. That was a bit sad.
Well, and like you mentioned, there's apparently rumors about Navani and Dalinar, and it's probably not great for you to hear that there's rumors spreading around your court about your spouse and your sibling, whoever you are. That's not going to go over well, I would imagine.
True. They could talk about it.
Talk? Oh my gosh.
They just talk to each other, maybe.
Who's ever heard of such a thing?
I know. If they talk to each other, we wouldn't have all these books. Yeah.
Yeah, interesting start to it. Yeah, the prologue is definitely the most memorable of these to me, just because it really casts everything about Gavilar in a previous light. Like Jamie said, I don't think we ever expected him to be a saint, but here he's just a monster, and we're just like, holy shit! Like, why does everyone idolize you? Although, I guess it makes a lot more sense now. It's like, oh yeah, this seems like a guy who would be Sadeas's best mate.
Okay, yeah, good point.
Yeah. And yeah, he's hanging out with the Heralds and openly talking, like, I believe they openly named the planet that they came from. Braze, was it?
Yeah, they say something about Braze. Yep.
Yeah, so I was like, okay, cool. And the Heralds don't seem to be hiding the fact that they're Heralds. I guess that's why they're allowed to just come back and forth whenever they want. Because Navani's like, well, who are these guys that are just allowed to come through even though we have no idea who they are? That's why. But yeah, just really chilling stuff about Gavilar's personality, which I guess probably shouldn't be surprising, but just the scale of it is. So yeah, like, really interesting prologue. The other, like, the follow-up chapters, we don't really get a sense of what Shallan is up to. That's just that she's searching for someone. Although there is a note somewhere in there. It's like, we need to remember everything, and she, like, Vale says that, and Shallan's like, no, we're good. I'm like, what's left to remember? I thought we got it all. So, oh good, oh goody, okay. Can't wait for Patton to give a shit about this one. And then, yeah, the stuff with Kaladin. I'll admit, I got to the page with the character headings and gone, Lirin? Really? Of all the characters on the list, Lirin is a perspective character? Like, he wasn't even on the list. Advertagia was on the list before him. So, I'm like, okay, what are we doing with Lirin? And, like, it was cool to see back at Hearthstone and to see Kaladin come back. And I get why you needed Lirin for that, but is this going to be a recurring thing? Because are we just going to have fantasy disapproving dad the whole time? Because I don't know if I'm about that.
Yeah, it's weird to me just how disapproving he comes off here. I mean, we've only met him in person like once before, and I guess he wasn't super like thrilled with Kaladin, being a swordy fellow or whatever. But
Yeah, I mean the thing that stuck out straightest in my mind is that he's talking to someone about war and how it takes people away, and it's like, and it cost me 2 of my sons. I'm like, one of them is still alive.
yeah, he's like, but the boy is gone. Now there's this like mean guy where he used to be. And like, I mean, part of that is just called growing up, my man. But
Yeah, no, but it just really seems just like on some level, Kaladin is dead to him. I'm like, Jesus Christ, dude.
yeah, your son became like a one of the first in thousands of years holy knight with superpowers, and you're just like, guy uses a sword and hurts people. Is he even my son anymore? Like, maybe you're looking at the wrong end of this, dude.
Yeah, it's like, look, I get it. War is an awful thing, and Lyran's obviously got a bit of a complex about it. It's like he hates war so much that anyone who participates in it is awful to him. On some level, I kind of get it, but like, Kaladin is out there saving people. That's literally what he does. His whole thing is about saving even the ones he hates. Now, maybe he hasn't explained that to his dad, but
And you kind of have to think that maybe the way his dad raised him, was a big influence on this, because that's exactly what his dad does. Is he spends his life saving people, even people he doesn't like, he
yep.
saves. And so, yeah, maybe you had a big influence on your son becoming who he is, dude.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, like
Ah.
I'm a bit just like, oh, I don't know how much Lyran disapproval I can take. I hope this isn't a big thing across this book, but then this book is also fucking massive, so
It's a big book. There's lots of room for many things to be
yeah.
long and detailed.
It's a Richard. It's a total Richard.
Yeah, doesn't get too much more Richard, except for the next Stormlight book after this one.
Yeah.
At least you know what the next one we've got contained in one cover. It's not split across 2 novels, so we'll see how that goes.
I think that's just because they stopped doing the splitting them in two for that one.
Did they?
Like, yeah, I think that it's longer than this one, but the publisher just stopped doing that.
They finally
Okay.
realized, why are we doing this?
It's taller and it's wider, so it's like, oh, we can fit more per page. So
Yeah. Yeah, I'm kind of mirroring what our other two people have said here. There's a lot of action-packed stuff right at the beginning of this book, which I love. I feel like, wow, this is a good way to start a book. I hope that it doesn't slow down a bunch after this. But yeah, it's called Rhythm of War, so it's nice to see some fighting going on almost immediately. And so yeah, excited. The prologue, I agree. Gavilar looks pretty bad in this book. We're getting a perspective of him from Navani, and it seems like Navani has played this pretty close to her chest. She doesn't talk about Gavilar almost at all, and it makes sense if they did not have a great relationship, and he treated her as badly as he treated her. At the same time, it's like Gavilar had something huge going on, and it sounds like he was just like, I don't want you involved in this thing that I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
He was very mean about it, and there's obviously some feelings going on where he's doubting himself, right? He's hearing these rumors about his brother and her, and he's like going through something about it. So you kind of understand the upset, but not to the extent. He's on the verge of something that it sounds like is much bigger than we even realized. It sounds like he was trying to make himself into some kind of god or herald. So like, at least the way he was talking about himself.
Yeah. He definitely has some grandiose something going on in his own mind. If
yeah. And so it'll be interesting if we get to delve into that a little bit more. And then, yeah, the Lyran stuff, while I agree with Dak, it's like, come on, Lyran. At the same time, I feel like it's really good character writing, because I feel like a lot of the kind of deep-seated anger issues that Lyran is expressing by being like, I did not want this for my son. Not only did I want it, I'm mad that he chose to be a warrior and blah, blah, blah. I feel like it's very Kaladin. Like that, they obviously have different ideas about how Kaladin's life should have unfolded. But I feel like the kind of inner turmoil and then anger and almost to an extent of like grief is very similar to how Kaladin acts and feels. And like, it's very clear that their mom, that Kaladin's mom, has been an influence on her husband and Kaladin, like, of positivity. And so, but when left to their own devices, they kind of sink down into this, like, I have a duty and this is my duty, one being a surgeon, one being a warrior. And it's like, they don't really agree. Kaladin at least has room for both in his head. Like, he has room for being a warrior and remembering the things his dad taught him and being able to use that to both help people, other people, and to kind of like inform to himself how to fight and what he's doing. So he at least can take that in, all the lessons his dad taught him. But yeah, Liren, I think, is kind of stuck in this old mind of like, his sons were taken from him when they were boys, and he's upset about what happened to them. The one that's alive and the one that's dead. Like, he's just as angry. It's not what he wanted for them, and he's upset. So like, yeah, is he being unfair to Kaladin? For sure. But like, you can also see, at least to me, where it's kind of coming from.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. I mean, is he going about it the wrong way? Sure. But is he a human? Yeah, he's human. Like, it's maybe there's some room for growth in this book, or maybe not. But the Shallan stuff, I'm really interested, because obviously, it was set up to get her kidnapped. So like, I'm wondering, like, oh, what's the big plot there? I love a Herdazian guy coming in and like being all goofy like Lopin, showing up causing trouble. So that's fun too. Really just a fun way to start the book in general. I enjoyed pretty much all of it. So I'm looking forward to what this book has in store for us. But yeah, so far it's been already kind of a whirlwind prologue and first 2 chapters. So excited to keep going.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought up our Herdazian.
Yeah, the mink.
The mink, yeah, that's what he's called.
Which is just a great name. I feel like it's like Pink Panther good. It's just like such a great name. It's like, it's the mink.
And I think it's very evocative of like the way that he kind of slips out of stuff, apparently, because
right.
That's kind of the feeling that I have about minks. It's like they're sly and small, and they try to avoid.
Right.
But yeah,
as soon as you said Pink Panther, I just went, the Mink Mantha?
The Mink Manther.
Yeah, classic, the Mink Manther, right.
I mean, you could even call it the Pink Mink, then it would rhyme.
Hey.
Or if you want to throw it off, just be like the like purple mink or something.
But yeah, it makes me think about, like the 80s, 90s or whatever, when I remember like mink coats being like this ultimate sign of wealth or whatever.
Oh yeah, that's right. I remember that.
And then I haven't heard about them for like 30 years. So
yeah,
people have gone off of that, I guess.
Listeners, if you have a mink coat, I'd be interested to know.
But yeah, did you guys recognize him from our previous encounter, even though it didn't say his name then?
Was he the guy with the hog?
Yeah, he was the guy with the hog.
So it's like, how many Herdazians do we know at this point?
Yeah.
Fair. Yeah.
I really wanted Lopin to be there too, to like, which maybe we'll get that later, but I wanted Lopin to be there to like meet the mink.
Yeah.
You just know that he's going to be a cousin or something.
Yeah, they'll be cousins, exactly.
Yeah. And I just love hearing another Herdazian say Gancho. It's like, he's our Gancho. I'm like, oh, heck yeah.
Yeah, except I'm used to when we hear that word, it's in reference to Kaladin. And
right,
now
he's the
somebody else is the Gancho. And I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah, Kaladin can't be the Gancho for everybody.
That's not Gancho. No.
Hashtag not my Gancho.
Yeah. Not my Gancho.
Pretty fun overall so far.
Yeah.
And also, we get the details here about how apparently, like, this guy and his small resistance held out against the Fused for a really long time and, like, killed tens of thousands of them.
That's pretty cool.
I understand why Dalinar wants him on side. You know?
Yeah. Not to mention he's Herdazian. It's just a lot of fun.
When you get a Herdazian on your team, you get all his cousins on your team, too. So hopefully the Mink has a bunch of cool cousins.
Although it sounds like the Mink just like wanders off a lot, so
it does sound like that. I love that detail that it's like, yeah, he likes to slip away just to see if he can. And
I love just the visual image of he's talking to a pile of clothes and then the clothes just fall over and he's like, wait, what the hell?
Yeah, it's okay. Well, let's get into this chapter. We can hit that more when we get there. But I was going to bring up, did you guys see the Shallan sketchbook pages before the prologue? Because they're kind of cool looking.
Yeah, I tried to like, I had to take, because I'm reading on my phone and it's so small, I had to take like screenshots and then zoom in to read everything. But yeah, it was cool.
Yeah, we get the image of Urithiru and what it looks like from the east and from the west, with a Kaladin
missed it.
hanging in the foreground for scale. And then the second one that we see is we get a picture of the atrium within Urithiru, which is, you guys may remember, we saw it briefly in Dawnshard when Lopin like takes off with the guy and heads up towards the roof in the atrium.
Yeah,
but
holy shit.
There's like this whole cross section of Urithiru and stuff. It's a very cool illustration that Shalon makes. And I won't read the words because it's just detail on like battery goes here, gates are here, so on and so forth. But they're very cool, very detailed drawings. So the prologue, we're back to the night of Gavilar's murder from Navani's perspective, and it is called To Pretend. So these always have interesting little titles. And we get Navani's perspective of she is the one who has to like make things work. King Gavilar just invites whoever he feels like to these parties, doesn't even let them know who's coming, tells the Parshendi they can play their drums, doesn't give a second thought to how's any of this going to work. And so Navani is the one who has to make it work somehow. And we saw a little bit of this when like Dalinar, had the memory of what happened to Evie come back, and it kind of like took him out of commission for a while, and Navani had to hold things together. So we see she has experience in that realm.
Yeah. That one she did out of necessity more, but like obviously it's not something she enjoys doing.
Yeah.
And you kind of feel for her, even before we get to like the actual parts with Gavilar and how nasty he is to her. You kind of feel for her because it's just like, oh man, she's just having to do all the things, and like he's not being very considerate, and he just goes off and does like kind of his own thing, and she doesn't know where he is and doesn't know what's going on. And she just kind of has to figure it out and make excuses and do all the things.
Yeah, he promises all these people that he will personally meet with them today, and then just doesn't show up, and she has to try to make that okay somehow. Yeah, it sucks for her. And then there's a moment with Aesudan, her daughter-in-law. It's like, she's over there talking. She's supposed to be over here helping out, greeting guests inside. What is she doing? And she's talking to two elderly Ardents, including Rushor Chris, the artist and master artifabrian, who this seems to be like Navani's Elvis, where it's like, oh my gosh, the amazing artifabrian is here. I want to talk to him all about whatever. And so she goes over there, and Aesudan's like, I'm sorry, I forgot we had a meeting. I gotta go, guys. Come on. And Navani doesn't get a chance to even talk to the guy.
This bit just made me realize, man, we really didn't get a lot of Aesudan in the end.
Nope.
Yeah, she seems like kind of frivolous in this prologue. It's just kind of like she wants to see the lords and the knights and all that stuff. So it's a very different like perspective on her than we had, when she's like crazy Gemheart.
Yeah, well, like we only met her in person for like one chapter, and then she ate a rock and she died, and not for the reasons that one normally dies when they eat a rock. So it's like we got barely any Aesudan in the end, and I'm just like, oh, I would like to see more of her, just from a villain perspective.
We're assuming she's dead, so yeah, like we really didn't get much of anything of her. And Navani doesn't seem to have a lot of respect for her here.
Well, no, like it seems like Navani's just like everyone's complaining about me and Dalinar possibly having a thing, but Aesudan quite openly seems to be like, I'm just gonna hit on every dude I want.
Well, there's the one line where it's like Aesudan doesn't like Navani, but she doesn't take it personally because she says it's the prerogative of every woman to feel threatened by her mother-in-law, particularly when the girl was so obviously lacking in talents. Which, damn.
Ouch.
Okay.
I'm sure you're very talented, Jamie.
And Aesudan's like, oh, thank goodness you showed up. That man is the most dreadful bore. And then she goes off to talk to some generals right when Navani wants her to help out with some of the craziness that's going on. And she even thinks like, that girl has no manners. She's just walk up to men talking.
Yeah, Aesudan sounds like a real treat.
And she's so mad that Gavilar invited this guy, this important artifabrian, and didn't even tell her. And then she has to calm herself down. Like, no, maybe he intended to introduce the Ardent to you as a gift. It's fine. Spoiler, that does not appear to be the case.
Yeah. He did not sound like he thought about his wife at all.
And then Dalinar drank up all the wine again. He secretly drained the barrels, so they go in there and realize that they thought they had all this wine and they actually have none. So they have to...
Can you imagine? He just like puts a tap in the barrel and is like, all right, nobody's going to catch me doing it today.
And she has a secret stash of enough wine for the entire party hidden in a monastery, and has like a secret, like a note that she scribbles, like, here, give her this, and she'll give you the wine.
Yeah. And all that, and she still likes that guy.
Right?
Like later,
It's-
she sees him and she has to like, oh, I gotta go to the other room. I'm feeling a little warm.
Yeah, that guy's so intense. Oh my gosh. He's not drunk yet, though. And we find out that Gavilar's been kind of wandering off with these uncommon figures, is the term the palace staff use for these people who just show up. No one knows who they are. They don't even give their names a lot of the time, but they get time face to face with the king. And we get to the part where she goes in and she sees Dalinar in the main room, and it says that people orbit him like they might a fire on a cold night, needing to be close but fearing the true heat of his presence. It's very poetic. Like, she is into this guy. No wonder there's rumors. And she's like, you know what? I think I should leave this room. I'll go look for the king. Isn't that a good idea? All right, yeah. And it turns out that one of the places Gavilar hides out with people is her personal study, which she doesn't get to use that often. So, of course, no one would ever think to look for him there. And we get some very small snippets of one says, being able to bring them back and forth from Braze doesn't mean anything. It's too close to be a relevant distance. And Gavilar says, it was impossible only a few short years ago. This is proof. The connection is not severed. The box allows for travel. Which makes me think of TARDIS, but it's probably not a TARDIS, sadly.
Anything's a TARDIS if your imagination wants it to be.
And she peeks in through the crack in the door and sees Gavilar with these two guys, a tall, dark-skinned man with a birthmark on his cheek, and then a shorter Vorin man, both of whom we've seen in every single one of these prologues in one context or another.
Nail.
And yet the short guy actually calls the other guy Nail here. And I like when she looks at the shorter guy, she's like, yeah, he's much younger, maybe in his 20s or his 30s, or no, he could be older. So he could be any age is what I'm getting from this.
Can you imagine that age range? It's like, yeah, I met this guy. He's like in his 20s, or maybe 30s, or I don't know. He could be older than that. It's like, okay, so did you actually see this guy?
So he's most likely an adult.
It's likely.
Yeah, he might have been a juvenile. It was hard to tell. He's really tall. So I think he was an adult.
Could be 20, could be 4,000. Not really sure.
Yeah, could be any age. Could be dealing with a vampire. I don't know.
She spots him with these guys and a bunch of spheres, some of them that glow with an inverse light, as though they are pits of violet darkness sucking in the color around them. So, all right. And she's like, ooh, what are those for? They have to be meant for Fabrials. What's he doing with Fabrials?
It's like the thing I love. My husband's doing something with it.
And not including me.
Yeah, as usual.
And he spots her, like, peeking in the door at him, so she just pretends like, oh, she was on her way in. She's not spying. This is the palace, and she's the queen, so she goes where she wants. Also,
Plus, it's in her study. Yeah, it's like this is my room. You're in my room.
Stop touching my stuff.
And so she's like, husband, the guests are waiting for you. And he's like, oh, sorry, got to excuse myself. And the nervous Vorin man, he's like, I want to know more about this project, Gavilar. Plus, you need to know there's another of us here tonight. I spotted her handiwork earlier.
That's
Which-
Ash breaking the statues. Yeah.
Ash.
Yeah.
I assume that's who he's referring to, yeah.
Unless there's another herald.
Yeah.
I mean,
He's just he's drunk outside, but he's there.
I saw his handiwork earlier. That vomit stain on the stairs.
I mean, I assume Nail knows that he's there. He mentions, like, if he ever stops drooling that one time. So,
Oh, I forgot about that.
yeah, he's just not worthy of a mention here. It's like, he's always here. Don't worry about it.
Maybe Gavilar keeps him here specifically. He's like, we just got to keep an eye on him in case he sobers up one day. Are you going to help him sober up? No.
If he does know these guys are heralds, yeah, maybe.
He's like the guy we need to know where he is at all times.
And Gavilar says he's got a meeting with Meritus, that's Amaram's name, after in a little bit, and we can talk some more after that. And Nail's like, no, I don't think we will. Which makes me wonder, does he know that Gavilar's about to die, or is he just like, I don't want to
Probably.
talk to you anymore?
He probably knows what the
Yeah.
assassination white is doing. Which, if he knows, he should probably tell his buddy, like, "Hey, remember you want to hear about that project some more? He's about to die, so that's not gonna happen."
Maybe Nell's secretly sabotaging this project.
And yeah,
Maybe.
not gonna work here anymore.
I don't want to talk to you anymore. And yeah, that's where the guy's like, "There's more here, Nail. This is important. I want out, and this is the only way."
Interesting.
So yeah, he wants out. All right.
Of something.
What is that? Yeah, of something.
What does he want out of?
And Navani, like,
Life.
flat out, after they're gone, snatches one of these spheres and is like, "Gavilar, what is this? Like, how do you make them do that? Why do you have famous artifabrians that you're inviting here?" And he's just like, "It's not your business. Go back to the feast."
Yeah, mind your business, woman. I'm a man.
And she's like, "Why are you ignoring all the guests? Why did you promise that guy you're going to mediate his dispute tonight, the night of the big party? Did you say you have another meeting to go to now? Like, what the heck?" And he's just like, "Do you know how tired I get of your constant questions, woman?" And she's like, "Well, I mean, maybe try answering some of them then. It'd be a novel experience."
there's already
roasted.
there's already some fur flying on this one.
And she actually tries. She's like, "Look, why are you shutting me out? Please, just tell me." And he goes, "I deal in secrets you could not handle, Navani, if you knew the scope of what I have begun."
Again,
But we
it's
don't
like,
have no idea
if-
what the hell he's talking about.
Again, it's like, if you knew, then fucking tell me.
It would be
Right.
nice to know.
And she's like, "Oh, you're punishing me with all this, aren't you?" And he's like, "Yeah, maybe. Maybe you'll learn to consider before you speak. Maybe you'll learn the dangerous price of rumors."
Oh,
She's like, "Oh, jeez. Nothing happened, okay?" And he's like, "I don't care if something happened. There's rumors. That's the problem." All Gavilar cared about was his legacy. He wanted to be the most famous king of Alethkar ever. And then he tells her, "Speak to your daughter. I believe I've managed to soothe Amaram's pride. He might take her back, and her time is running out." So he definitely wants her Yasna to marry Amaram, which, oh, geez, she dodged a bullet
Can we-
there.
How old is Yasna at this point? Her time is running out.
That is a good question. I'm pretty sure that it's been discussed, but I do not remember it offhand.
I think she was an adult. She was old enough to hire assassins in her prologue on this night.
Oh yeah,
Right.
she's definitely an adult.
You got to remember, we do expire, so there is a best before.
Yeah.
Okay, so Gavilar was assassinated in the year 1167. Yasna was born in 1139. So that would make her,
Well, she's almost 30.
yeah, almost 30 here, and this was
Wow.
7 years ago. So
So there you go, ladies. You gotta get married before you're 30, apparently. That is not the official stance of the Sandra Lynch podcast.
no, yeah.
But just to back it up a bit, it's like Gavilar's words, "Speak to your daughter." I'm like, holy
Yeah.
shit.
Mhm.
That's what you say when you're being a real dick. You're just like,
Yeah.
speak to your child. I'm just like, okay, dude, it's your kid too. Chill the F out.
No. Whenever one of the kids has done something really annoying, my wife and I, it's always like, "Do you know what your child did?"
Yeah, that's my point. He's being a dick. He's just like, you know what your kid did today? They spurned a man. It's like, okay, well, she doesn't like him. I don't care if she likes him. She just has to marry him. Who says you had to marry somebody you like?
We
like
don't like
she-
each other. It's fine.
Yeah, I don't like you. You don't like me. She's like, I like you. He's like, oh, you do?
Ugh.
This is awkward.
Why?
Yeah, why? I'm the worst.
But also, it's not just that. It's like we've got to marry like this guy. They'll be fine. She hates him. Who cares? Also, he's your work buddy.
Yeah,
Imagine-
and
Imagine having to marry one of your parents' colleagues. Ugh.
I'm not hearing a
Nope.
reason why she shouldn't be marrying him.
And
Also,
I
he's
love-
the worst. I mean, who's not the worst?
Well, in a Lethi society, yeah, there's not many people who aren't the worst. Let's be fair.
Yeah. But the thing is, like, all the people that we consider the worst, like Sadius and Amaram, they're his best friends.
They are. Well, and including Blackthorn Dalinar before he started, before all the bad
true.
shit went down. Yeah,
He was also the worst.
he
Yeah,
was the
but,
worst.
For all his faults, I don't think Gavilar's going to try and set his daughter up with his brother.
No, probably not. I'm just saying, that's also one of Gavilar's closest associates is Evil Dalinar or whatever.
Evil
Yeah.
Dalinar.
Like, Blackthorn Dalinar may legit have been the worst of the worst. Like, he's pretty bad.
He's pretty bad.
I think he
Navani-
at least had some inner turmoil about how bad he was, though.
Yeah, especially after he married Evie or whatever. But yeah,
He was also much more of an impulsive, stupid evil than like your crafty Sadius.
yeah, also true. Yeah, Dalinar just wanted to fight and didn't have much else going on. Quite frankly,
Let's fight.
Navani fires back with like, "Why don't you talk to her if it's so important?" Besides, I don't like Amaram. Yasna can do better. 100% fair as far as I'm concerned.
Oh, and he's just like, how dare you insult
How
my
dare-
good friend Amaram?
Like, bro,
Yes,
your daughter, not your friend. What are we talking about here?
Yasna will marry Amaram as I have instructed her. So, all right, man. It's not gonna happen, but
It's like, yeah, this prologue really brings out his Tywin Lannister. It's all about the legacy. It's all about doing what Daddy says for the good of the family line. Like, ugh.
and Navani's like, you realize that she still loves you, Gavilar. Like Elokar, Dalinar, the boys, they worship you. Maybe you should treat them better because the people who survive you, they're gonna define how you're remembered. To which Gavilar replies that no, greatness will define me, not mediocre efforts by someone like Dalinar or my son. And personally, I doubt Elokar could rise to even mediocre. Which, damn,
Yeah, he's not winning Father of the Year, this guy.
Yeah.
Elokar
be
could have
fair-
risen if it wasn't for that fuckwit Moash.
yeah. To be fair,
And
we
his wife.
saw Elokar as king shortly after this, and I'm like, I mean, he's not totally wrong about Elokar not being a great king, but
yeah, but if
yeah,
his dad had been,
If he's-
not half a prick, then
Yeah.
maybe that would
Maybe
be
Elokar
different.
would have had a chance. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like now let's unpack this. Navani says Elokar doesn't seem to be really aware of what his dad thinks of him, but that doesn't mean his dad's just messing with him, and he doesn't. And like, look, I like Elokar. He's not the brightest. Maybe he didn't realize what dad was doing, but yeah, I think a lot of like how Elokar turned out could probably be laying at this jackass's feet.
yeah, I mean, your dad has an influence on how you turn out. Who would have thought?
I know, right?
And I really love Navani's comeback where she's just like, you realize that like the way people remember you after you're gone is based on words to get written about you. And I'm the one who will be writing about you, Gavilar. So maybe don't push me too far or I will start squeezing. Oh, jeez.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
some really weird veiled threats in here.
I will write a mean book about you.
And everybody will think it's true, or know it's true, because I'm your wife.
He slept with a great shell. What?
He slept with a great shell.
And he says, do you know why I don't involve you, Navani? Do you think you can take the truth? And she's like, well, I don't know, try for once. You aren't worthy. You claim to be a scholar, but where are your discoveries? You study light, but you are its opposite, a thing that destroys light. You spend your time wallowing in the muck of the kitchens and obsessing over whether or not some insignificant light eye is recognized as the right lines on a map. Those are not the actions of greatness. Which, I love that he's dissing her for taking care of the problem he created, where it was like, this guy has an issue with a map. I promise to personally meet with you and work it out. And then he just doesn't, and Navani takes care of it, and he's like, how pathetic that you were taking care of that.
Yeah. I think the harshest thing he said is that light thing. It's like, you study light, but you're the opposite. It's like, wow. That's really mean. It's like, though, your wife, who you are supposed to love, you're like, you are the opposite of all that is good.
He tells her everything distinctive about you came from someone else. You have no power. You merely like to marry men who have it. Which, given that later she marries Dalinar, she's kind of... It's weird how, I don't think that that's accurate, but it's weird how someone else could take that as being like, wow, no, he was right.
Ugh.
And she's just like, this is so horrid that she... Like, he keeps getting worse. You went where there was money and power would be the greatest. And he says some very unkind things and eventually leaves. And she's so furious that once he's gone, she paints a glyph ward that says death, gift, death, and then burns it as a prayer. And then she feels bad about it. Like, did I just pray for my husband's death? How messed up is that? And then he does die, which makes it even worse.
I mean, he's definitely a jerk. But yeah, praying for his death, probably not great.
No.
remember back in the early days when we thought Navani was going to turn out to be a secret bad guy. Those were fun days.
Yeah.
And
Hey,
very,
you know
very
what?
bleak
It's
to look
still
back on
possible.
now.
Hey, it's still possible. You never know.
So maybe
Long
she is
con.
secret bad guy. She
Yeah.
prayed for his death and then he died. Maybe
She's
she's
got,
the
like-
catalyst in all this.
She's got like the Death Note thing.
It's like, hey, Navani, we haven't won the war against the Fuse because you haven't prayed for their death. Hurry up.
Oh, and you know what? At the end of the first book, she prayed for Dalinar to come back in front of Sadeas and all his guys, and look, Dalinar came back.
Well, she prayed for justice. Maybe that
Huh.
counts as him coming back.
Yeah.
I felt almost like that was more of another death prayer where it's like, I want Sadeas to die to bring justice for what he did.
Yeah.
Well, she
Well,
doesn't
you know,
really know what he did. She just
he-
suspects. But
also, he did. It just, didn't happen until
It took a
like
while.
a book later.
Her powers are weakening. They're not happening as quickly as they were before.
I mean, you could even call that a form of justice where Sadeas tried to murder Adolin and his dad, and Adolin eventually gets him back. But
That's true, because Adolin wasn't
Yeah.
part of the possible getting killed in that battle.
Mhm.
and she thinks about how like this is how these fights go. Like they both know each other so well that they know exactly where to like poke to make it hurt the worst.
I do like the note that she did genuinely love him at least once upon a time. It's not just like, oh yeah, look, I love Dalinar, but married you for status. And it's like,
Right.
no, I did love you, but then, you didn't turn out to be the safe option I thought you were.
Yeah, and I'm sure that's why it hurts more, right? It's like
Yeah.
he's so awful to her, and it's like, oh, it's like I was
Yeah.
scared of Dalinar, but like you're awful.
If she'd never really liked Gavilar, then him being an asshole probably wouldn't be.
Yeah,
That big a
she'd
deal.
be like, par for the course. This guy's an a-hole.
Yep.
I don't really like him anyway.
Yeah. This isn't a I knew what I was signing up for situation.
Right.
And then we cut to after the party, and Gavilar left the party early, so she's the one out here saying goodbye to everyone, making promises, making excuses for why the king isn't here and why he left so early. No, he's not. He's not snubbing you. He has important kingly things to be about. And she finds out about his death when somebody comes to get her. And they say, oh, they've taken our king, those parchment, those barbarians. And she's like, did Gavilar like slip out and like he's out doing, and they think he's been kidnapped? But no, he's
That's
dead.
where her mind goes.
Well, just because she can't conceive of the idea that he's dead. He was just talking about how like he's going to be eternal or some bullshit. He tells her like, I don't care what you write because I've discovered the entrance to the realm of gods and legends, and once I join them, my kingdom will never end. I will never end. Which, geez, delusions of grandeur much, but so it's such a weird like dichotomy to that when he's dead just a few hours later.
It's like, yeah, remember all that stuff about I was gonna live forever? That nope, didn't happen.
And I love like she goes and sees his body, and she's still like, now it's a trick. She has to go and see where he died, see her daughter like crying with her safe hand over her mouth because she witnessed her father's death. And that's when it starts to hit her like, oh wow, he really is dead. And Sadeas has to explain like, here's what happened, here's the plan that we came up with that didn't work. And then she starts feeling real crappy because she just prayed for this.
Yeah,
Oh
it's
God,
not
it's
good.
the consequences of my actions.
It's like, oh no, I'm magic.
And then she thinks, I love that she's like, I'm feeling something, but it's not grief. His death was meaningful, but it didn't mean anything to her, other than perhaps a way for her children to never have to learn what he had become. And she thinks, I'm going to be the better person, Gavilar. I'm not going to write about what a shit dude you were. I will give you the legacy that you wanted. You're dead now, so I can be magnanimous, basically. And then she's like, hey, what about those crazy spheres that he had? And she starts looking through his pockets, and then somebody is like, like there's guards nearby, and she's like, oh, this looks bad. Okay.
He just died, and I'm rummaging through his pockets. Should have been like, oh, well, I gave him my favorite ring. I wanted to see if he still had it.
And so she
This
has to like,
token.
she has to come up with a way to make this like she's putting back the gifts that he gave her into his purse and giving them back, blah blah blah. And the prologue ends with like the kingdom is going to go on and Navani's going to be required to pick up the pieces. And so yeah, then we get part 1, Burdens, and the perspectives are Kaladin, Shallan, Navani, Venli, and Lirin, which we're leaving out some of our big characters here. There's no Dalinar, no Adolin, but some interesting stuff. And our epigraphs here are a lecture on fabrial mechanics that Navani Kholin gives to the Coalition of Monarchs in Urithiru. So she starts describing how you capture Spren, which is really
What a nerd.
I love the science part of it, so I'm
No,
like
I
it.
do too. I'm just joking around.
And we start with Lirin, who is I don't know if you guys had given a single thought to what went on with Kaladin's town after he left in the last book, but Alethkar has fallen, and so Hearthstone is under the rule of the Singers, as they are called now. And because Hearthstone is also in the far north of Alethkar, close to the border with Herdaz, as the fighting in Herdaz has continued, lots of refugees are coming across the border and coming into town. And so he has set up a thing where he has to examine everyone to make sure they're not bringing in, or that's his story, to make sure they're not bringing in some plague that will kill them all.
I mean, as cover stories go, it makes sense. Like,
Well, and apparently, yeah, the lady who's been put in charge of town is worried about this specifically, so it's a good tactic. And today, there is something more because they're expecting someone in this line. And my first thought was they would be like Kaladin, but we get told very quickly that no, it's a Herdazian general who's fleeing now that the resistance has finally collapsed. He's going to come into town, and we're supposed to like not get him captured. And Abia Jean is the singer now, in charge. He has to remind himself of this. In charge of the town. She's one of the few that was from Hearthstone originally, and now she's back as like the high lady of the city. She asks him, have you seen any plague Spren? If those Spren get into the city, they could kill everyone. And Lirin's like, disease isn't caused by Spren. It's caused by like improper sanitation and this other stuff. And she goes, yeah, superstitions. Silly human. Doesn't understand. And then we run into Laurel. The end of the world seemed roughly as bothersome to her as a poor harvest once had. So she's comporting herself better than her husband, it seems. But then again, he's going to provide a distraction later. It's okay. And the general is in the line. She lets him know, like, he's 3 down. And Lirin's over here like, looks a little short for a stormtrooper. Or no, she says that he's not, he's a great general. He's not as tall as I expected. And Laurel's like, genius comes in all shapes. And they get into a discussion about how, like, she's like, why haven't you suggested we just turn him in? And he's like, well, because he'd be executed. She's like, but don't you like hate him because he's perpetuating like war and getting all these people killed? And he's like, well, yeah. And they have an argument about heroism and what that means. Heroism is a myth you tell idealistic young people when you want them to bleed for you. It got one of my sons killed and another taken from me.
Yeah. So this is that Lirin moment of just like Kaladin thinking of just like, ugh, yeah, war's stupid. I couldn't save them. Nothing could save them because of that evil that exists.
Which, I mean, fair. Like, war, what is it good for, as the song goes? But
absolutely nothing. Say it again.
Which is in a Lethe society, like, he's just even stranger than he would be anywhere else.
Yeah.
It's like, wait, there's a guy who thinks war is bad? What's his deal? So they sent word to Kaladin he's supposed to come and fetch this guy if they can keep him safe until then. And so, yes, we meet Dino, or Diano, I don't know how you say it, the mink. He's lean and short and missing a tooth, but he's also got scars on his wrists. It says those were the scars manacles made on the skin of slaves, which I don't know if the implication is like maybe this guy was like a slave at one point or something, but we also know that this guy likes to get out of handcuffs as like a hobby. Like we saw him doing that in that interlude we had. So maybe that's just self-inflicted.
Yeah. He's like, oh, were you a slave at some point? He's like, nah, never been a slave. Love handcuffs though. But so the Herdazians in the audiobooks are supposed to be Australian. So what's an Australian mink sound like there, Dak?
Mink's typically Arctic.
I think he meant the quotes from the mink here, not like.
Yeah, I wanted you to like give us a quick improv of what you think the mink sounds like.
My bad. Hang on, let me find one of his lines. Shit. Hang on, I missed my page. Yeah, we left obvious weapons behind, but it'll be my face and not our arms that betrays us.
That's not bad.
No,
I like that.
That actually works, yeah.
I buy it. That's a mink.
The mink is a Crocodile Dundee.
He does like wild animals.
He does.
Like the hog.
And so they have a plan that Liren pretends to find an injury that requires surgery on one of the Mink's men, and uses the Mink and 3 other men as like stretcher bearers to carry this guy somewhere. And in the meantime, Rashon, who I believe this is the first time we see him for his first name, which is funny because you guys mentioned it last time. Like, what's his first name? And I was like, I don't think we know it yet. His name is Torolin Rashon. He now
we thought Sadius only had one name. It turned out to be Toril, and now with like Rashon's like got one name. And it's Torolin. I'm like, is that just the thing? The people who are like we think only have one name is just Toril, some variant.
I feel like Amaram was the same thing. Like for the longest time, we didn't know his first name. I feel like
So we found out it was Meritus. We're just like
Meritus. We knew Meritus.
We definitely found out more recently than this guy, at least. But
yeah.
Right. I don't remember exactly when.
Yeah, like because I don't think we knew immediately because they would call him Lord Amaram, not in the flashbacks, not like Meritus Amaram.
Or High Marshal Amaram was.
Yeah, High Marshal Amaram.
True, and I guess the Sadius thing was specifically because his peers were calling him that, whereas, like you say, when it's looking up to Rashon and Amaram, it's like his subjects mainly who are talking about them.
I think it may have even been like his wife who called him that Torol for the first time or something. Like it did not come up much.
Yeah.
But Rashon, who was the city lord, has now been demoted to the lowliest of lowly jobs, creme scraper. And he has to wear like knee pads and shorts, which is the creme scraper uniform, apparently.
Can you imagine? It's like you can't wear pants, you have to wear shorts, but here are some knee pads.
Yeah. And it says that you can still tell that he lost a lot of weight pretty quickly, but it was because of, it wasn't like recent. This was from his son's death 7 years ago. He lost a lot of weight after that. So that's also when he married Laurel. I wonder if she was just like, we're eating healthy now. But he has is either doing a great job of acting drunk, or maybe he just actually got drunk to help with the whole plan. But either way, he creates a great distraction by doing some friggin' what do you call it? Comedy.
Slapstick?
Yes, some slapstick comedy over here. Falling all over himself and the stool that he's using. And the Parshmen, who the singers, who all were formerly owned by some Alethi Bright Lords, think that this is the funniest thing they've ever seen. And they love watching this. So they're distracted just enough. And Liren has also noticed that they pay attention to the guy on the stretcher, but not the guys carrying the stretcher. So that's why he set it up this way. And the plan actually is working like gangbusters until suddenly here comes Abiyajan again, the bright lady. And she's like, everyone stop what you're doing. Prepare to give deference. And Liren's like, oh shit, we're caught. But it turns out that it has nothing to do with what they're doing.
I'm never going to be in a position in my life to seriously say, stop what you're doing, prepare to give deference. But what a line.
You just get home from work and you walk.
It's like, everybody,
stop what you're doing.
Stop what you're doing. Prepare to give deference. And my wife will be like, "What the hell are you talking about?
What is wrong with you?"
Prepare to give deference? Absolutely not.
Yeah,
no.
She's like, if by that you mean give deference to me, then sure.
But it turns out that there's some very important people have come to town, including a fused, a 7-foot tall dude comes out of the fog with what looks like a simple wrap at first, except that we discover that it's his hair. Dude's hair is his clothing also. And he's got like this jagged carapace. He even says he's got like horns or fins maybe rising above his ears. This guy sounds terrifying. And he's got an interpreter who's like, hey, we're searching for a spy. He might be hidden among these refugees. And Liren's like, well, I mean, we've been using the drawings you gave us. I promise. We inspect every person. We're very watchful. You don't need to terrorize the refugees. And they're like, oh, no. This person's not going to be on the list. This young man is a spy of the most dangerous kind. He would be fit and strong compared to the refugees, though maybe he feigns weakness. And Liren's like, I mean, that could describe anybody. Could you give us a little more to go on? Oh, you'd remember this guy. Tall, wavy black hair, has a slave's brand on his forehead, including the glyph Shosh. And Liren's like, oh, shit.
He's like, I've seen a guy like that before.
And just then, one of the fused soldiers throws back the hood of a cloak, revealing It says, a face that should have been intimately familiar to Lirin, yet the harsh man Kaladin had become looked like a crude drawing of the sensitive youth he remembered.
Very cinematic moment. I feel like this scene specifically, like especially at the start of a movie, belongs in a film.
Yes.
It's like they're looking for a guy. They're like trying to sneak this other guy in, so Lirin's real nervous. And then like they're like, we're looking for someone, and then they pull back his hood and it's him, and he's like, hello, boys. You know, it's like very.
It's like a fantasy James Bond opening.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I just love the, oh, we're looking for this guy, and he's in the guard that came with them, or in the fused guard. It's like, I was right here, bitches.
I mean, if Shallan was around, she could have given him a disguise, and it could totally be that would be hilarious.
Yeah, true.
Like, they're standing there, and they're like, "We're looking for this man," and all of a sudden, like a shard blade cuts through them from behind, and he was like, "And here I was." Yeah. But I mean, I think since they're supposed to be doing Stormlight as a series, I imagine it more as like a season premiere where we come back after the break and we're with Lirin, and you're like, oh, what's going on here? And then right before the theme song, you get the very dramatic reveal that Kaladin's here. And so the chapter ends with Kaladin has been revealed. He bursts alight with power, and it says, death had come to visit Hearthstone today, despite Lirin's every effort. That is a shame.
Yeah, especially at seeing his son. He's just like, oh, he's not like, oh, my son's here. He's like, yeah, death had arrived.
Right? Yeah.
My son, the Grim Reaper.
Yeah. My son, the old Iron Eyes.
Oh, wait a minute.
We go into Kaladin's perspective where it's just Syl being like, I told you we were spotted. I told you, and I'm going to keep reminding you until you acknowledge how intelligent I am. And so yeah, we find out that they were flying their way here, and the fog cleared within sight of like a watchtower that the enemy had set up. And he was like, "Nah, I don't think we were spotted." And Syl was like, "Yeah, we were spotted." And it turns out she was right. So, but Kaladin either doesn't have time for that or is trying to avoid having to be like, "No, you were right, Syl." And he's like, "This is a new variety of fused. Have you ever seen one of these before?" And she goes, "No, seems uglier than most though." Which, I mean, mean but fair. And we find out that there are, Dalinar confidently explains, though does not say why he knows this, that there are 9 varieties of fused.
You said Dalinar explains? Or are you talking about, who are you talking about?
No, it says Yasna posited that there would be 10 varieties of fused, and Dalinar, offering no explanation of why he knew this, said there would be only 9.
Oh, got it. Sorry, yeah.
So there's 10 orders of Radiant, but only 9 fused, and the ones that can fly, which is the one that we've seen before, the like Moash killed one and then talked to the same one, are the Shanaim, or the ones of the heavens.
So are we basically, by Dalinar saying that, is the idea of like, there were this many heralds, but there are this many unmade, and so like the fused are reflections of the unmade? Is that what we're like supposed to be understanding?
Could be. Honestly, I always kind of took it as the Stormfather knows about past battles, so the Stormfather maybe just knew from having seen the old times that there were 9 of them. But yeah, I don't know. Could be. There's 9 unmade, so yeah, maybe. That's a good point. Okay, so he's going to try to fight this guy, try to draw him away from the city. And then something weird happens with the dude. Like a little violet, or a red-violet light, like a spren, shoots out from his body and goes after Kaladin, and then turns back into that 7-foot-tall fused when it reaches him. Which, yeah, I wouldn't have expected that either, so it's hard to blame Kaladin for being caught off guard. And before he can do anything, the thing grabs him by the throat and is going to, like, choke him out. But he's full of Stormlight and doesn't need to breathe, so he's got some time. And we go through the fight. The guy is getting in some good hits, and he turns into this streak of light and leaves a body behind, and then creates a new body when he gets where he's going.
It must require some serious energy.
Right? Which I guess explains, we're told throughout the chapter that it looks like he can do this 3 times before he has to go and recharge, essentially.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like, straight energy to matter conversion, yeah, I would imagine that's tough. And then the guy, one of the times, gets a hold of Kaladin and, like, stabs him in the neck to, like, paralyze him from the neck down and sever his spinal cord. And it says the Stormlight starts to heal him, but the guy keeps stabbing him. It's like, clearly he's fought Surge Binders before. And so Kaladin very nearly dies right there.
That would have been such a mindfuck if like let's just open up book 4 and like the character who is like probably the closest one to like the main protagonist at this point, or maybe he's dueling that with Dalinar, but one of the two main protagonists just fucking dies at the start.
Pretty sure all the people who gave 1-star reviews to Oathbringer would revolt for sure.
Oh
yeah,
god,
right?
yeah. I didn't even think of that.
Like, if Kaladin dies, we could revolt.
And so Kaladin barely manages to get out by like slamming his head into the guy, the only part of him that he can still move. Just as like that tingling feeling rushes back into his body, he smashes him and gets him to let go. And so he's like, how am I going to kill this guy? He's just like, I can't kill Spren and he seems to turn into like a Spren thing. And the guy keeps coming after him, like, and Kaladin has to try to dodge. And it's a very intense fight, especially given how close we're told he comes to killing Kaladin in basically their first matchup here. Once Kaladin kind of gets an idea of like what this guy does and sort of the limits of it, I think he fares a little better, but the power's really taken by surprise. And Kaladin even says, like, this guy attacks differently than most. Like, I haven't done a lot of grappling. You don't use wrestling on the battlefield.
It's going to turn into the WWE right here on the battlefield, huh?
But the thing is, this guy can't fly except when he's in that like red light form. So as long as Kaladin can stay out of his range when he turns back, the guy just like falls to the ground. Like, he can't grab him. And he even manages to like lash the guy away from him at one point. And then that little bit of scene ends with they kind of have a draw where the guy backs off and Kaladin's like, what? Come on, come at me. And the guy's like, what? So you can run again? Watch for me from the corner of your eye, Windrunner. We'll meet again soon. And then he takes off.
Ominous.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm going to get you. It's like, oh, calm down.
And I love Sill's like, well, we showed him. And Cal goes, he almost killed me twice. And she's like, I didn't say what we showed him. And then we switch over to Vale, who is very annoyed that no one has kidnapped her. She's been wearing this fake face for a month. And like she's back in the war camps on the Shattered Plain. And she's pretending to be like this merchant. And she's trying to get kidnapped and nobody is doing it.
Man, I know I'm always frustrated when nobody kidnaps me.
Right. And I love it's like, yeah, we bribed the real woman Shanasha to let me take her face, and she's in a secure location, probably getting paid for this entire month when she doesn't have to do anything. And so she's talking to a shoe merchant, and she's like, I want 100 pairs of these shoes. And basically, I'm gonna make a lot of money unloading these things on old Kholin at his silly tower. And the guy's like, well, I'm a law-abiding man. We can't get around the tariffs. That would be illegal.
Wink, wink.
And she's like, it's only illegal if he has the authority to demand tariffs. So he's not the king. And so they cut a little deal. 100 pairs of boots in 3 days. All right. And then she goes off somewhere to have a drink. And she's super bored and no one's kidnapping her. And then she realizes, like, oh, wait, someone drugged my drink. It's about damn time. And then she just slumps over in her seat. It's like you guys pointed out, we have no idea really what she's doing or why, except that right here at the end of this section, right before she passes out, it says she couldn't feel anger. Vale couldn't feel anger at Shallan. She channeled it instead towards Ialai Sadius. That woman couldn't be content running a little fiefdom here, making a profit off of caravans and keeping to herself. No, she had to plan storming treason.
So what's going on? We don't know.
We haven't heard from Ialai in a while.
No. Like we had the reveal like to Dalinar. It's like, you know, Aelin says, by the way, I killed Sadius, and Dalinar's like, the fuck, man. And then that was the end of that. So it's like Ialai's just be like, who killed my husband? I'm not letting this go.
Yeah, I think she kind of sat in the back seat because she'd kind of give Amaram run of whatever, and now he's gone. So she's probably like, oh, I got to do stuff now.
He's gone, and her entire army that was under him is gone.
Right. Yeah, so she's probably having to work more in the shadows than she has in the past, because I doubt she's been able to build up like an army to like, you know, do the stuff she needs done.
So Shallan is out here trying. It sounds like trying to do something about Ialai, or Vale is. It's not actually Shallan because we're in Vale's head like this whole time, except for when they're doing the accounts and Shallan has to kind of step in. And then we just cut back. So that's all we get of Vale / Shallan in this section. We come back and Syl is just complaining because Kaladin has not been getting enough sleep. How can humans have trouble going to sleep? You do it literally every day. You've been practicing your whole lives. And he's like, yeah, you'd think that, right? And she's like, obviously I would, since I just said it. Which I love. I love this relationship. It's great.
Bill's being real sassy today.
Even babies can sleep. Only you could make it something difficult.
It's hard for me to get a beat on their relationship sometimes. Does she like Kaladin? Is she annoyed by him most of the time? It's like a weird brother-sister vibe that never quite makes sense.
Okay, yeah, no, I see it. And then she turns herself into a replica of him to show how all he does is complain. Blah, grumble, grumble. Get in line, men. Storming rain, ruining otherwise terrible weather. Also, I'm banning toes.
I love it.
It's just great.
So weird. The toes thing. It's so weird.
Right?
Yes, those dreaded toes. You have to ban those.
And I love Kaladin comes back to Hearthstone, and there's still some singers there, and he's like, look, you guys could just leave, like, go half an hour away, stay there until sunset. All right? It's fine. Or we could fight if you really want to die. And they totally attack him. And it's just like, oh, man.
To be fair to his dad, he gave him a chance. He's like, you can just leave.
Yeah.
I'm not going to kill you.
And also, he only kills one of them, and you know he could have killed all 6 of them if he really wanted to.
Oh, yeah.
It says that he was over in 30 seconds with one of them dead, and the others with their weapons shorn in half. And so they leave, and it works out. And then he sees his mom and his little brother. His little brother's like, Gaga Din. So his brother recognizes him. I guess they visited at least some since we last saw them.
Yeah.
And his mother says, how is Lynn? And Syl goes, oh, she broke up with him right after our last visit. So apparently he was dating Lynn, and then they broke up. I don't think we ever even saw them interact.
Yeah.
The one time we saw him interact was when he's just like, oh yeah, you can scribe for the Windrunners, and she's like, fuck off.
I'd forgotten about that. You're right. Yep. So yeah, there's been a time jump. There was a whole relationship that Kaladin had with this woman, and then they broke up, and we come in after the fact.
Not much of one, apparently.
Yeah. It was like, yeah, they dated, we went on one date and then didn't work out.
Well, apparently he sulked for 2 weeks after it was over, so maybe it was a little bit more serious than that.
Who knows?
I mean, he is dramatic as fuck.
Like, why did I even try? Grumble, grumble. Shalon's the only one I think is pretty. Grumble, grumble. Terrible weather. Grumble.
And I love that like his mom's like, I have to ask Syl these questions because you don't answer questions about your personal life. I also love that Syl just always appears to his family, like is visible to them and plays with Oridon and stuff. It's super cute. He's like, it is demonstrably unfair that I have to deal with both of you at once, Kaladin says. Did that Herdazian general make it to town? And she's like, yeah, I put him in there once the fighting started. And then she's like, so he tells her, get everyone ready. Something big's coming today, and I don't want them to panic. And she goes, could you explain to me what you mean by big? He's like, you'll see. Are you going to talk to your father? And his father is checking on that parchman to make sure that he doesn't, that he's actually dead, can't be saved. He's like, yeah, of course.
I'm not dead. You'll be
soon dead in a moment.
Yeah. I'm feeling better. I think I'll go for a walk. You're not fooling anyone, They recently put that in a local movie theater and went and saw it. It's fun.
Nice.
Yeah. They're going to do a re-release of The Fifth Element. I saw again, and
they just did that a few years back because they didn't go see it.
And they're doing for the 30th anniversary, I think, of the original Transformers movie, which I didn't realize is called The Transformers the Movie. But
the 80s one.
Yeah.
Yep.
Good times.
Transformers the movie.
I guess that's.
It's got to be 40th because it was 80s.
Now. I feel like that's
87.
Yeah, that old.
86.
That was 86.
Yeah,
86. Yeah.
We're old. What are you gonna do about it?
And so we get a little bit of background from the Coalition's perspective of what was going on in Herdaz all this time, where they've been focusing on winnable fights basically, because every report they got said Herdaz is basically done. They're going to fall any minute now. And somehow Herdaz kept not falling for the longest time. They did eventually lose it though. And he gets into this place and he's like, which of you is the mink? And they point to a guy in his cloak in the back. And Kaladin has a whole speech. I'm honored to meet you. Bright Lord Dalinar and Queen Yasna want to invite you to blah, blah, blah. And the guy doesn't move. and one of the men goes over and shakes him, and then it turns out it was a bunch of rags and stuff assembled as a dummy with a cloak put on it.
How did he have time to do it and nobody
Yeah.
noticed?
That was so not what I thought was going to happen when he didn't move or anything. I was like, oh no, he's dead. I've got a whole new mystery. Nope,
That
he's
also would
just
have been
made
funny.
of towels. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think that even occurred to me, but that would make so much more sense if it was like, oh my gosh, he was somehow killed while everyone was watching him. How did that happen?
Or I
But
thought
no,
he was going to be asleep, and then when the clothes fall over, I'm like, oh, he's what? He's gone?
But yeah, no, he's just he left a dummy in his place while he had 4 guards standing over him somehow.
It's very Ferris Bueller moment. It's just like, wait, what is that? Oh, it's clothes.
And they're just like, yeah, he does this sometimes. We'll just give us a few minutes. We'll go find him. He's gonna be in town somewhere. And they're like, this is what he does. This is how he doesn't get caught. When there's danger, he vanishes. And Cal's like, well, he just abandons you guys? And they're like, well, if we were in danger, he'd try to come back for us if he could. And if he couldn't, well, I mean, we're his guards. We're here to protect him. If he gets away, then we win. And so he's like, Calvin's like, okay, well, when you find him, pass on my message, okay? Just like give him that whole spiel about we're honored to meet him and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, he's like, I can't deal with this right now. I got enough Herdazians at home.
And then he goes to talk to Liren, and Liren's like, I had hoped that you were going to approach covertly. And Cal's like, yeah, we tried. And he gives him the whole explanation of what happened. And Liren is clearly not happy about the corpse that he left, and he's like, I'm a soldier, father, I fight for the people. And he says, any idiot with hands can hold a spear. I trained your hands for something better. And Cal's like, can we talk about this later? Like, we need to go now. He hears a distinctive thumping sound in the distance. And Liren's like, no, I've told you already, I'm not going to leave the people. Like, this is my town. These people need me. And Cal's like, yeah, I know. You made it very clear that you would not leave. You won't take Mother and abandon the people of Hearthstone. I want you safe, so we're taking them with us. And a gigantic floating platform appears in the air as like some fog clears, with 24 windrunners flying around it in formation. So, yeah, I don't know how that wasn't spotted, if Kaladin flying alone was spotted, but whatever. That's the end of our section. And if you guys had turned to the next page, you would see some images in Navani's notebook of what we're looking at in the air, but we'll deal with that next time. For next time, we are going to read, let me see here, 1, 2, 3, 4 more chapters. So 3, 4, 5, and 6 for next time. And those chapters are called, chapter 3 is The Fourth Bridge. Chapter 4 is Architects of the Future. Chapter 5 is Broken Spears. And chapter 6 is A Loose Thread. So there you go. Let's move into predicaments. What do you guys think? Where are we going? What's gonna happen now that we've started Rhythm of War?
Yeah, what's going to happen? Well, I'm hoping that we see Shallan Vale Radiant wake up somewhere.
And not die? Yeah, that would be good.
And not die, yeah. I don't know who exactly is coming for her, but it sounds like she's got the support of like Dalinar and Adolin, so presumably they are aware at least of what's happening and tracking her. Kaladin and Co. I feel like we're probably not going to see the Mink for a while. He'll probably turn up somewhere where I don't know, but I feel like probably not right now. I'd like to say they'll probably get the people of Hearthstone back to Urithiru safely, but I feel like that's a little too easy. Like, if the Fuse were going to let Kaladin just go, surely they're not going to. Well, like, they didn't let him go, but obviously that was a not winnable battle right there and then. I don't think the Fuse would make that particularly easy to do. But if they do leave Hearthstone, it does leave the border pretty much like unmanned. So hopefully some more refugees will be able to get through. Yeah, I don't know. It's like we're 2 chapters in. It's very early to see what we're doing. I'm super intrigued at what Shallan's up to. I think that's the thing I'm hoping we really get some more about, given that some time has passed as well. I think Venli was on the perspective characters. I'd like to see what she's up to now. I'm probably, of all the characters to come back to, really curious as to where she currently sits. But we may not, I don't know, maybe it will be a little while before we get there. I don't really have a lot today. very early days.
Yeah, I'm glad that you called it out because that was the one that stood out to me also on the list was Venli, who we spent some time with last book, but yeah, you're like, well, after the battle at Thalen City, where has she ended up? What's she doing? Yeah.
Mm.
Okay, so like I said at the start, the prologue was the bit that really grabbed my attention this go around. So I have thought long and hard about the implications of the prologue and Gavilar's plan, and so I've got a volcano for you guys.
Ooh.
Yep. So Gavilar's plan, like what he's up to. So what do we know? He he told Eshonai he wants to bring back their gods. He knows that they're on Braze. He's talking to the herald to Nail and do we know this other herald's name?
I don't know that. I think we've had some guesses about who it might be, but I don't think we know for sure.
Okay, so we got Nail and this other herald. They're talking about things coming back and forth from Braze. So he seems to know, like he knows that they're heralds. He knows like what they have done, and when he's talking to Navani, he's talking about he's gonna endure, he's gonna last, he's gonna have a great legacy and everything else. So between the heralds and the fused, the gods of the Parshendi that he's talking to Eshonai about, I think I've got two options for what Gavilar is up to here. Option one, he wants to become a herald. Like we know he's with the Sons of Honor. They're seeking the Honor Blades, so he wants the blade to go with it. That one herald whose name we don't know wants out. So maybe Gavilar is seeking a way to take that guy's heraldry away from him. And then that herald is free of the oath pact and his sins. Gavilar takes up the burden, the blade, and the power. So he's seeking that. Or in talking to Eshonai, he's bringing back the fused. He wants to become like the human equivalent of a fused. He wants to do what they do and like be able to come back and possess people to rule his kingdom everlasting. He wants to be an eternal king. Doing what the Lord Ruler did, but by possessing people rather than just prolonging your lifespan.
It's horrifying, but
Yeah.
yeah, okay, I see it.
Yeah, but I mean, he explains like he doesn't have to give a shit about raising Elhokar, right? Because when he dies, if he cracks this before he dies, he can just come back and possess Elhokar and do it that way.
Mm.
I mean, or like it's some weird combination of these two, like becoming like maybe it's like one is his plan and one is his contingency. But either way, he wants the power and he wants to be able to come back from death. Is what these will give him. So I think that's what Gavilar's end goal was, to become like the eternal ruler of the first Alethkar and then the world. Because like if you got the immortal king, like he can just keep coming back and just keep doing his thing.
Right? Yeah, you could take over the
And
world eventually if you just keep trying.
yeah. And then so the prediction then where this is all going, I'm thinking maybe we haven't seen the last of Gavilar. Maybe like if he does a Kelsier and refuses to hang around and refuses to move on to the spiritual realm and hangs out in the cognitive after he died, maybe he's going to keep working on all this and like trying to find a way to come back. And maybe he will come back in some way and haunt us. Maybe he'll be an antagonist in a later book. Maybe he will come back as like a brand new fused but human fused. Fuck, maybe he possesses Dalinar and he's like, cool, I got my kingdom and my wife back. Let's pick up where we left off.
Suck, but that's actually a really cool idea, even with how horrifying it is.
Oh yeah, like disgusting, but like I feel like now that we've turned this corner, seeing Gavilar is an awful person, we can posit, you know what? Maybe he's up to some real villainous shit.
I mean, yeah, that makes sense. So Kelsier got to hang around at least a little while in the cognitive realm because he was like heavily invested as a Mistborn or whatever.
Preservation.
So,
Well,
and then he got shoved into the Well of Ascension and got preservation energy and stuff. So, do we know do you have a theory about did Gavilar, was he invested with something when he died?
Don't know, but the fact that he's hanging out with the heralds and the fact that the heralds gave him the time of day suggests to me that he's got something more going on than just regular human who rose through the ranks to become king.
Okay.
So he's out here making deals with the herald. I get the feeling Nail just doesn't really give a shit either way, just from the fact it's like, yeah, no, we're not talking again after tonight. Maybe I mean, we know Nail is out like after this. Nail was killing people who were going to be bonding Spren, this could be a very different case of like this guy is too dangerous to be allowed to live. So maybe he did have a hand in setting up the hit. But yeah, no, I think there's more to Gavilar than just a guy.
Okay.
So maybe he did have some kind of investiture somehow, or he was seeking it, or he knew too much, or was on the cusp of learning about it. I don't know, and I don't know what would have led to him, being able to hang around the cognitive realm, because I think everyone moves on eventually. Like Kelsier was an outlying case,
Yeah.
but yeah, who knows? Maybe he pulled it off.
That's fascinating. Yeah, that would turn, because the whole kind of irony of what we saw in this prologue was that he's just like, I'm going to live forever, and then it's like smash cut 2 hours later, dead.
He
And
did.
then if it turned out, so it's like this very ironic thing. And then if later on we turn that on its head again, that could be really interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, and because like because it's happened to Kelsier, we know it's possible.
Right,
So
yeah.
all bets are off.
If you're determined and stubborn enough, you can find a way, maybe.
Yep, and hey, he was stubborn enough to unite Alethkar, which no one had done since the Sunmaker. So
Yeah, true. Yeah, it did take Kelsier getting some help from preservation, but there's other shards out there around Roshar. Maybe Gavilar could get some help.
yep.
Okay, I love this idea that Gavilar could come back. I don't want to see him
actually-
take over Dalinar's body. That's horrifying. But the idea he could come
No.
back as a bad guy, that's really cool.
Actually, now that you say that, can you just imagine like Odium rocking up later on talking to Dalinar and just being like, "All right, well, you refused me. You refused to let me in," and Dalinar's like, "Yep, what you gonna do about it?" And Odium's like, "Yeah, but I have a backup plan. And ages ago in the cognitive realm, I found this guy you might recognize." And and Gavilar just walks out with the red eyes, going, "Sup."
That would be an unexpected champion of Odium to show up for sure. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Because at this point, who's the one person Dalinar would be afraid to fight one-on-one who's still human?
No, that would be a Brandon level twist. I love this volcano theory. Awesome, I'm on board.
Yep. Probably, and again, it's a volcano. It's entirely probable that it's full of shit. Entirely likely that it's full of shit. But hey, it was fun to come up with.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh man, it's hard to follow that. No, I really like Dask's theory crafting. I kind of had mentioned at the beginning of like, is he trying to become a god or a herald? So like that would make sense. You've kind of put an explanation to like that initial thought I had in my head. So like, I feel like that's a really fun thing for him to be able to come back somehow, especially and like fight his brother. It's a pretty cool idea. But yeah, where are we going? Ooh, overall, I'm not sure. I mean, there's obviously a lot of like new questions that even in this first section that we've gotten, right? Like what's going on with Shallan / Ili? Like what's going on there? There's something going on. What's happening with all these new fused? There's now all these new types of fused running around that our heroes are now having to deal with. What's going on with that? We are now getting a little more context for like the thing that he gave to Dalinar. So like, what is that thing? What was that important to what Gavilar was trying to accomplish? And if so, is that why he gave it to his brother? What did the Way of Kings have to do with?
Wait, what did he give to Dalinar?
Didn't he give him the black orb thing?
No, that was Seth that he gave it to.
Oh, that's right. He gave
they can't,
Seth.
They can't get this or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, I got confused. That it was Dalinar that was with his brother. It was.
I was just
Seth.
making sure I was following you. So okay, yeah.
No. That's my bad. Yeah, I just getting that confused. So like, yeah, he said I can't get this. This is important. Like, what does that have to do with it? Is that something that he needed? But then, going into the actual thing of what we talked about, we've got these new magic craft that like they're using to get around, and like there's just lots of already intrigue, interest, and things that we are getting lots of questions don't have answers to. So it's just like it's exciting times to be reading. It's exciting times to be reading the Stormlight Archive. So I'm excited to see kind of like where we go from here and what the dealio is going to be. But yeah, overall excited to kind of figure out what all this is going to lead to. Don't have a lot of specific things right now. I would say like Shallan knows what she's doing. She's got some support. So there's that. We haven't seen some of our other main characters. They're going to be taking all these Hearthstone people back. So I bet that's going to cause some issues. when they get to Urthiru, because Liren doesn't seem like he kind of is enjoying the vibe of what's going on with everybody over there. So lots of contention ahead, lots of good story ahead. Hopefully, lots of fun battles ahead. That's just my general outlook right now. Don't know a lot of like specific things to say. It's like I feel like I'm almost in the trap of knowing too much now. It's like I know enough that I can't just like spit out crazy things, but like I don't know what's going on, so I also don't have like a lot of fun stuff to talk about. But anyway, I'm just excited to keep reading.
That's fair. Yep, we got we're back in Stormlight after our break. It's
Yeah.
If anything, we probably need to find our feet a little bit to, especially because we've had a time jump, and I don't know that we even know how long the time jump has been.
Did you tell us?
I do not recall. I told you guys there was going to be a time jump. I don't
Okay.
remember if I mentioned how long it was, because I don't remember offhand how long it was. Hold on, I'm now going to find out. Between Oathbringer and Rhythm of War. Somebody says very little time passes between the first 3 books. I knew that. That's not helpful.
That is not helpful.
It's about a year, it sounds like.
Okay.
So some stuff has been going on, and we need to figure out where we stand again. Apparently, Kaladin has fought like 7 different kinds of fused by now, which, like, can we hear more about those? Like, I want to know what the other.
Give me the deets, man.
But let's move into. Let's do a couple emails, and we got a new patron. So Gary,
You got it.
We have a bunch in the box though, because we haven't recorded for a bit. So let's do another. Here we go. This one. This one also comes with a review. So get ready for that also. But
yep,
this one is from Zach. It says catch up, review, sandwiches, and other slop. Hi everyone, it's Zach O'Brien. Been a while since my last email. I've officially caught up. Now I need to wait for episodes. I don't have any really crazy sandwiches, but I have tried peanut butter pizza just with bananas instead of maple syrup. I should try that. And it's really good. That was another sandwich idea that somebody sent, if you guys recall. My experimentation when it comes to sandwiches usually revolve around cheese, because cheese, the one thing I've learned is never heat up kiwis. They taste nasty that way, and cannibalism is bad. My brother said I should add that joke. I hope you get it.
I assume he's from New Zealand.
That would make sense. I was like, I'm not a bird. I don't don't heat up kiwis. Okay, I'll trust you on that. I don't eat a lot of kiwi. I've eaten some.
I don't eat a lot either.
Regular kiwis, I don't actually like that much. I had some like golden kiwis once, and I thought they were actually quite good. So, anyway, in regards to TCGs, I'm into MTG, but before the crazy power creep, so like 10 years ago. I played Yu-Gi-Oh, but didn't find it fun, probably because I don't understand how to play. But my favorite TCG is definitely the Genshin Impact one. It's fun and simple.
I never watched or read Genshin Impact. Don't know much about it.
Anyway, here's my Spotify review, and there's this 5-star Spotify review, but before you do the thing, P.S., I remember that I think Joe was the one who said he does Let's Plays, so if you're interested, here's a link to my channel, which is called Zach Plays Games. Good name.
I haven't recorded in a long time, been too busy.
PPS, I've been working on a Fire Emblem hack and game design, and development is a royal pain in the butt. I hope it comes out well. I hope so, too. I love the AI suggested reply in the email where, glad you're caught up. Heated kiwi sounds rough. Haha. Cheese is always a safe bet. Like, just very generic.
Wow. It's pretty bad.
Fuck that robot.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, just send me the sandwich recipes if he's got one. But like, it's gonna be a little bit. I do want to record me trying sandwiches, but I'm moving house right now, so it's gonna be a bit before I could do that. But thank you for your review and your email. That was great. You are. Let's see. What one we haven't done in a while? Ooh, a lurcher. You're a lurcher.
Ooh, yeah, nice. And then Zach sent a follow-up email. I realized today I do have a sandwich. So he says, you take a boiled egg. I like soft-boiled best, but whatever's your preference. You take the end of a baguette. You mash the egg up to a PC egg salad idea and take the dough from inside the baguette out. Then you put the mashed egg into the pocket of the baguette. If you want to do butter inside, it will probably taste better, but I find it to be too much of a hassle.
So mashed egg inside baguette, no dough. Interesting.
That's wild.
Yeah. I'm trying to imagine the texture of that. Sounds chewy and then Goopy.
The sign off is anyway, wasn't to the time of next, and happy cup collecting. And then in parentheses, I like this better than To the Cups. Yeah.
I feel like
egg,
To the Cups has more pizzazz.
egg in a baguette. I don't.
That's Egg in a Baguette. That should be like a short story.
That does sound like it. Yeah. No. All right, let's do. There's one really short one that I'm going to do. This one is from a different Zach, and it says, "The most dangerous kinds of canoes are volcanoes," which works better in writing. Canoe is the word is in canoes is volcanoes is spelled.
No,
like
I
VOL.
get it. I don't.
It works better in writing than when I read it out loud. That's the entire email.
What do we do with that?
Zach, I don't want to say I don't appreciate your email as much as like, what was the purpose behind it?
They wanted to tell us a joke.
Okay. Oh, did he say that? Did he say it was a joke?
No, it doesn't say. It just says the most dangerous kinds of canoes are volcanoes. But what else could it be?
I guess.
Oh gosh. Okay, one more quick email, and then we'll hit our new patron. This one is from Ben, and it says, "Greetings, Sanderlanche crew. Been listening for quite some time now. I just checked the last message I sent, and it was summer of 2022. So it's kind of crazy how long you've been going with this. The kids that baby breaks were taken for can probably talk now."
That is correct.
Oh yeah.
Yes, they can.
As the ogre once said, it's getting them to shut up that's the trick.
We love our kids. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, I know.
Been loving how much you all have been enjoying Stormlight and Tress. Oathbringer and Tress are two of my favorites, and my wife loved Tress so much she's looking to cosplay her. We're actually trying to go to Dragonsteel Nexus this year, definitely keeping your podcast on the topic saved. Have you considered, any number of you, applying to do a panel? If so, what would your topic be? Well, and I will say that I did try to get a panel together with some other like first time reading podcasts a couple of years ago. It did not work out. And it's interesting the way they choose panels the last couple of years. They're like, apply to be a panelist, and then we'll look at the panels we've decided to do and see which one you might fit with. So I did apply. I don't know that, but for the others, we're gonna try and avoid spoilers. So I mean, Joe did go that one year, but also Dak and Jamie have two small children and live on the other side of the planet, so it'd be hard to get.
Yeah, and I think the year I went was probably the best year I could have gone because, like, there was the buzz was mainly about something we were already reading, and there wasn't a lot of talk about it because the book had just come out. And I didn't know a ton about the Cosmere yet because what we'd read to that point was pretty small.
Yeah, the biggest thing was like we saw some people cosplaying as cryptics, and he's just like, "What the hell is that?"
Yeah, I had no frame of reference for it. I saw some merchandise for Stormlight Archive, but had no reference for it. So I literally just put it out of my mind. I'm like, "Oh, that's cool. That's weird looking." Okay.
There was even, I think they had the sword fighting ring with like the giant shardblade swords.
Yes, they had that. Again, I didn't know what they were. I just saw giant blades. I'm like, oh, that seems unnecessarily large. Whatever. But hey, this is a guy whose favorite RPG is Final Fantasy VII, where the guy has a giant sword. So take that with a grain of salt.
Yeah, that's a big ass sword.
We also can't wait for the Mistborn films to start coming up. I just want them to start dropping casting way too early. IMO, the perfect Kelsier option is easily Sam Hugan from Outlander. Do you have any perfect casting options they're ever going to do? Attached is my 5-star rating. I can't believe how long it took me to get around to this. Crabs Ahoy from Ben. So go ahead and do the rating first, and then...
Okay, so you got 5-star rating. All right, Ben. Some of the things you said concern me, such as Sam Hugan as Kelsier. Other things you said I enjoyed. So I'm going to make you a smoker.
I had to bring up a picture of the guy. I guess maybe he could be a Kelsier. Yeah. I don't know that I have super strong opinions on casting. We've discussed them some before, but I don't have one that stands out to me. It's like, this person would be perfect for this role.
Yeah. I find that I'm never good at it until I see the person that they chose. And then I'm like, oh, I wouldn't have chose them. Or, oh, that's a good choice. So I guess what I'm saying is I'm good at judging, but I'm not good at deciding.
I feel like once we get closer to it, maybe we should do an episode that's like, as casting information is starting to come out, maybe even have a segment of episodes where we're talking about like, here's what they've announced recently about the movies or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know right now. Jamie, Dak, do you have any like perfect casting thoughts in your head that's like, this is the person I see as that?
Not really. I don't even remember who. I'm sure we've spoken about this before. I don't even remember who we may have suggested previously.
Right.
Nah. I mean, hang on. So are we talking specifically Mistborn movies or Stormlight series?
I think
Yeah.
just anything at the moment.
I feel like the few times I've had like good casting like nods, I've mentioned them. But also, with Mistborn, like, we read that years ago. Like,
Yeah.
the state of Hollywood and the actors that I might have thrown they might not be around anymore, or they might have, I don't remember. So, and I think I'd have to go back and read Mistborn again, to be like, oh yeah, I reckon this actor can probably do this.
Yeah. I feel like that sometimes the listeners don't think about that. It's like, because we're just chugging along and we can only read so much, it's like I really don't have time to go back and like reread stuff.
Well, I always think about that. I think about that time that you said you went back and tried to reread Mistborn, and you got you were getting mixed with other stuff we were reading at the time. Like, well, I don't want to
I
trip
had to
over
put it.
the
I had to
Stormlight.
put it down. I was just like, I'm getting confused again. This is the whole thing. I'm just gonna do this again later.
Yeah. Plus, I've got other books in the pile.
Right.
Because there was a while there. I'm just like, oh, I'll just duck in the bookshop. And I'm just like, oh, it's like $20. I'll get myself a new book. And then I realized, shit, I've got so many books that I've bought and haven't read yet. So, like, I have been chugging along on those. There's a book called Kings of the Wild I've read recently. Wild is spelled with a Y instead of an I. That is very funny, and it's very cool fantasy. I would recommend listeners, if you feel like checking that out. A lot of you probably read it, but it's like, that's a lot of fun. One of the funniest like grim fantasies that I've read in a long time.
Nice. I keep one casting that I keep seeing pop up in the fandom that people either love or hate is there's a lot of talk about Matt Berry of What We Do in the Shadows fame as Breeze. I think he might fit.
Yeah, I mean, I could see it, but it's not perfect.
See, he recently, like in the last 6 months, I feel like he has become what Danny DeVito has come. It's like he's just a meme now. Like it's no disrespect to his talent or his ability, but now he's just a meme. And like, if he shows up in it, no one gives a shit about the character he's actually playing. They're just there for him.
Interesting.
I mean, I like Matt Berry a lot. I think he's a very funny, very talented actor. But it's just like he's a meme now.
Well, sorry that we couldn't do a little more on that. I think maybe at some point in the future, like I said, as this comes closer, we may want to try to dive more deeply into like maybe as they're doing Mistborn movie first, maybe some Mistborn sort of casting. Although some of the information they've come out with about what Brandon has said he's going to do with the Mistborn movie has got me sort of, I don't know if concerned is the right word. I don't know. I'm curious to see how it's going to turn out. Like he's like, yeah, I don't think we're going to talk about like smoking and seeking in the first movie, just to cut down on the number of powers that people are having to keep track of.
But that was the whole reason Clubs was on. Was it Clubs? Clubs was on the crew because he was a smoker and he guarded
Clubs
people
is on the
from
crew because he's the smoker.
Yeah.
Like he guarded people from the Inquisitors. That was his whole deal.
That also means is there no marsh? So there's no clubs and there's no marsh,
right? Well, and Vin's Vin's whole
marsh.
thing. Vin's whole thing where she can pierce copper clouds is a very important long term because it turns out the earring and gives her the power, and your hemalurgy was secretly lurking in there the whole time. So the way that Brandon has explained it, he's like, it's still going to be happening. Like we're still going to be at Club's shop, but we're just not going to talk about like that.
That's right.
Or something.
Like go into more depth in the next movie or something.
Yeah, I don't know. So that's the kind of some information that's been coming out that I'm like, I don't know what to think about this. But anyway, we can get deeper into that as it becomes more current. He just announced in his most recent weekly update that he's about to like turn in his initial treatment and have the meetings about like his first take on the script, basically. So a lot of stuff could change.
Yeah, so that movie's not coming out to like 2029 at the earliest.
Yeah, it's still a good ways off. Honestly, they also announced that Skyward, his sci-fi series, got optioned, and it's gonna Jed Whedon and Marissa his Jed's wife. I forget how you say her last name.
Yeah.
They're heading that up, and they did Dr. Horrible with Joss Whedon. They did Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. They were like showrunners on that. I have very high hopes for that, given that I like those books and that I like that pair of people working on it. So that should be interesting too. Anyway, let's hit our new patron and then we'll wrap up. Our new patron at the misting level is Ryan.
Ryan, thank you for being a misting level Patreon. We appreciate your support. And for you, Ryan, you can be a skimmer, like our old good buddy Wax.
There you go. Thanks, Ryan. And thank you to all of our patrons. You guys are awesome. While I was on vacation, I didn't manage to get new episodes to go up on the Patreon edited. So you guys have been without for a couple of weeks. Sorry about that. I'm going to get back on that and reading and editing that stuff as soon as I can. Hopefully before this episode comes out, well before this. So hopefully you've got some new ones by now. Thank you to the people on our Discord, the people who are emailing us. If you want to send us an email like these folks did, the address is thesanderlanch@gmail.com. Find us on Instagram and Facebook and places like that on the interwebs. Remember, we are doing 4 chapters for next time. So that was chapters 3 through 6. If you're reading along, read those chapters. Music by Miracle of Sound, and Wasing to the Time of Next. Colo, P.S. Fasher. Crab at thee to the cups.
Burden that is shared is much easier to bear. We will not fall to despair this darkest day. Whatever comes our way.